If you had told me 6 years ago that I'd own property, hold shares in companies, and have money working for me while I sleep, I would have laughed loudly, probably while eating instant noodles and checking my bank balance through one eye so it hurt less, because back then I was doing everything wrong. Not because I was lazy, not because I wasn't trying, but because nobody taught me the rules of the game. And when you don't know the rules, you don't just lose, you lose big time. Today I'm going to share 10 behaviors and lifestyle shifts that generally changed my financial life. Some of these will hit different, some will make you uncomfortable, and at least one of them is going to make you look at your morning coffee in a very different way. Let's get into it. The first shift. I stopped paying someone else's mortgage and started collecting rent. For years I thought renting was just life. You pay every month and at the end of the year you have nothing to show for it. Except maybe a landlord who sends you a rent increase letter with a smiley face at the bottom. Meanwhile, he has 12 months of your payments building his equity cheerfully. The moment I understood that real estate is one of the oldest wealth building tools on the planet, everything changed. I didn't start big. I bought one small property and rent out a bedroom. Let the rent cover the costs. That one decision meant I was living rent-free, mortgage-free, and keeping most of my salary. That's when I first saw the light at the end of the tunnel and realized it wasn't a train coming at me. My savings rate skyrocketed. The gap between my income and my expenses got bigger and bigger. You don't need to be rich to start. You need to be intentional. Life is quite similar to Monopoly. The ones who buy the houses first normally win the game, and nobody wins Monopoly by paying rent forever. Which brings me to the second shift, and this one is Robert Kiyosaki 101. But I'll say it again because apparently people need to hear it 17 times before it actually lands. I stopped buying things that drain my wallet and started buying things that fill it. A car on finance? Liability. A designer watch? Liability. A new phone every year when your current one works perfectly fine? Liability. And honestly, a little bit of a problem. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out. That's it. That's the whole lesson. You could build an entire financial philosophy on those two sentences and you'd be ahead of 80% of people. I started asking one question before every major purchase. Is this going to make me richer or poorer over time? That simple question killed a lot of bad decisions and funded a lot of good ones. My ego didn't always agree.
What?
But my bank account eventually said thank you. Here's one nobody talks about enough. I stopped spending at companies and started owning pieces of them. Every time you buy a coffee at a big chain, you are making their shareholders richer. So I asked myself, why am I always on the customer side of the transaction? Why am I never on the ownership side? I started investing in the stock market, not gambling, investing, index funds, dividend stocks, companies I actually believed in. And here's the fun part, don't get me wrong. I'm still a client too, I still get my coffee. But now when I pay for it with Visa or MasterCard, guess who owns those companies? Me. I'm one of them. So I'm happily spending money and quietly earning some back at the same time. That's the kind of win-win I can live with. These days I never make a big purchase without owning the company first. So even spending feels like investing in my own portfolio. Some people call that smart. I call it deeply satisfying. I used to collect hobbies disguised as skills. I could sort of play guitar, I dabble in writing, I even wrote a book, nobody read it, not even my mom. I watched a mountain of YouTube tutorials and felt incredibly productive while achieving absolutely nothing. But none of it was earning me a single penny. The fourth shift was getting absolutely honest about which skill the market actually pays for and doubling down on those. So I learned financial literacy, I developed tech and digital skills, I went deep in computer science and cybersecurity. Not to sound cocky, but I got certified by Harvard and earned my CompTIA Security Plus.
Wow.
These aren't glamorous dinner party topics. Nobody's ever said, "Oh, tell me more about your cybersecurity certification" at a party. But they compound. Every marketable skill you build is a lever that multiplies your income, your value, and your options. So stop learning what's interesting, start learning what's valuable, and then make it interesting. The guitar can wait, your bank account can't. About 7 years ago, I was very proud of my savings account. I had a decent chunk sitting there, feeling safe, feeling smart, very pleased with myself. Then I learned about inflation and realized my money was quietly dying every single year, like a plant I'd forgotten to water. Except the plant was my entire financial future. Saving is important. You absolutely need an emergency fund. But saving alone will never make you wealthy. Inflation eats savings. Investment beats inflation. Here's the honest version. I grew up with a scarcity mindset around money. Money was never abundant, so when I finally started making some, I hoarded it in a savings account like a financial squirrel, terrified to touch it. It felt safe. It wasn't. When I got more educated on how money actually works, everything shifted. My risk tolerance changed, my money personality changed, my belief system changed. I went from hard saver to passive investor.
Wow.
I still keep an emergency fund. I'm not reckless, but I now understand the relationship between risk, volatility, and reward. And that understanding completely changed my net worth. A savings account is a waiting room. An investment is a vehicle. You can't get somewhere by sitting still in the waiting room. This one is subtle, but it's powerful. Efficiency is doing things fast. Effectiveness is doing the right things. And they are not the same. I used to be extremely efficient at tasks that didn't matter. I optimized spreadsheets nobody looked at. I color-coded calendars with a level of devotion that was frankly concerning. I batched processed emails at peak performance. I still didn't move the financial needle even slightly. Peter Drucker said it best. There is nothing so useless as doing efficiently that which should not be done at all. Think about it this way. You don't want to be the most efficient person at eating fast food. In fact, the better you are at doing the wrong thing, the worse it is for you. Once I understood this, I started asking one question. Is this the highest value use of my time right now? I stopped perfecting things that didn't matter and started focusing on what actually generated income, built relationships, or grew my assets. Win the right battles. Efficiency will sort itself out. Okay, I know this one might be controversial. Hear me out. Before you leave a comment, this is not about needing a partner to succeed financially. Plenty of people build serious wealth alone. But for me, finding the right person changed everything, and not just emotionally. When I found my significant other, I gained a financial teammate. 2 incomes, shared expenses, aligned goals. We built a budget together, a vision together. We held each other accountable. We dreamed about the same future together. The key word is right person. The wrong partner can destroy your finances faster than any bad investment, faster than crypto in a bad week. But the right one multiplies you. They challenge your spending, they make you think bigger, they tell you the truth when you are being financially stupid, lovingly, hopefully, but still. And whether you are married or not, the principle applies. Surround yourself with people who are financially aligned with where you want to go. Your circle is your financial environment. Choose it wisely. Short term thinking is why people buy things they can't afford to impress people they don't even like. Let that sink in for a second. It's why someone cashes out their retirement fund early to buy something that will be worthless in 3 years. It's why the instant reward always wins over the delayed one, even when the delayed one is 10 times better. Now, full transparency. This one was never really my battle. I grew up wired to delay gratification. Honestly, that's a polite way of saying I grew up too broke to have any gratification to delay. So patience was less a virtue and more a survival strategy. Even when my finances improved, I never really fought lifestyle inflation. Looking like I was building rather than arriving never bothered me. The one exception, travel. I loved traveling. That was genuinely hard to pull back on, but I learned to trade fewer holidays now for the freedom to travel anytime later. And that trade-off makes completely sense when you see the numbers. Compound interest is the most powerful force in personal finance, but it only works if you give it time. Long-term thinking is the permission slip that lets compounding do its job. We live in the most distracted era in human history. Every app, every notification, every trending topic is precision engineered by very smart people to steal your attention and never give it back. And here's what nobody says out loud: distraction is expensive. Every hour you spend mindlessly scrolling is an hour you didn't spend building something, learning something, or deciding something. Attention is the new currency, and most people are handed it out for free to platforms that sell it to advertisers. That's not a great deal for you. I started treating my focus like a financial asset. I protect it, I invest it deliberately. I guard it from things that don't serve my goals. One project at a time, one income stream at a time, one goal at a time until it's done. Laser focus is what turns potential into results. So stop giving your attention, your time, your brain power, and your life away for free. Because the things you choose to focus on will determine your financial outcome more than almost anything else. And the algorithm knows that. Make sure you know too. And finally, the most important shift of all, because every single thing I just described, it starts here in your head. I wasn't educated enough in finance. I didn't have the right skills, I didn't have the money, I didn't have the connections, and somewhere along the way, I had quietly convinced myself that financial freedom was for other people. People born into the right family, people who went to the right schools, people who had something I just didn't. That was the biggest lie I ever told myself. I used to have a vocabulary absolutely full of can'ts. I can't invest, I don't have enough money, I can't start a business, I don't have the time, I can't buy property, I don't have the credit. Every single can't was a door I was locking from the inside, confidently, repeatedly, like I was proud of it. The day I changed my language, I changed my life. Not I can't, but how can I? 3 words, one question, 1,000 doors. Financial freedom isn't reserved for the lucky, the born rich, or the genius. It is built, decision by decision, habit by habit, shift by shift. And every one of these 10 changes I made, you can make them too. The only really question is, when are you going to start? So, those are the 10 shifts that changed my financial life. From tenant to landlord, from liabilities to assets, from client to shareholder, from nice to have to marketable skills, from saver to investor, from efficient to effective, from single to the right partner, from short term to long term, from distracted to laser focused, and from the man who couldn't to the man who did.
Wow.
If this resonated with you, or if one of these hit a little too close to home, drop a comment below. Tell me which shift you need to make right now. I generally read everyone. If you are new here, hit subscribe because this channel is about real financial growth. Not fluff, not get rich quick promises, no one selling you a course at the end, just the truth about building wealth from someone who had to figure it out the hard way. I'll see you in the next one. Let's get it.